Hi, this is Tom from Damp Genius. This is a brief walkthrough on a dry rot survey that was carried out last week. Hopefully this shows you why you should always get a proper invasive survey for dry rot. You need to lift floorboards, you need to take off skirtings, otherwise you really can't see what is going on. In this room you can see there's some dry rot. You can tell dry rot, an easy way to do it. It's tricky to always tell, but if you look at these cubes, where the cuboidal cracking it's called, you can see it's roughly, each crack is around about an inch, give or take. You know, it's sort of rule of thumb that it tends to make 1 inch cracks, so quite big cracks. Different to other rots you'd see that would make much smaller cracks. And you get the kind of white fluff here. You can see it's bowed the floorboard there, some shrinkage. And then above the floor, you can see this first sign really of the skirting board starting to bend. Now the cause for this particular dry outbreak is yet to be discovered, but what I have noticed in my initial findings, just lifting a board here, is you've got this joist which has got some dry rot in it, is touching actually this is part of the party wall here with a load of debris behind it, and it does come up dry actually on the moisture meter. So at the moment I suspect this is a dormant dry rot outbreak. There's no current moisture found, but I'm going to continue to have a look. What I'm going to do is lift this board here, as I want to see if this kind of wall situation continues along, and have a look at the joist under there, because if we zoom out you can actually see this is the worst or the main affected area, which is there. So I'm just going to put my tool across here, cut this board and have a look. Right, so that's the board cut. And I think it'll just lift up pretty easy. Okay. So first time seeing this, but again you can see that kind of 1 inch roughly cube. As I say, it's a rule of thumb, don't get a tape measure out or anything, it's just a rough idea. And again, this joist here is against this wall section. I can feel some rock coming down from behind that skirting. So, next step, I'm going to pop off the skirting board, I think. So here you go, cut the skirting board as it was a bit stuck. I pulled that off. There you go, you can see the dry rot fungus behind the wall, behind the skirting on the wall. It runs all the way along there. We've got this batten that was there completely gone. All of this stuff gone, and it's certainly in the wall there. The question is it active or not? I don't think it is, to be honest. I put the moisture meter on. Now, I know these are just a guide, but what it will tell me is if the wall is wet. They're very good at finding dry walls. So if you put it on this, the moisture meter shows pretty clearly that wall is dry. There's a bit of moisture there. 10%. It's pretty low moisture. It's not really finding much. And to touch, there's no moisture there at all. That is dry as a bone. So the wall is pretty dry. If we're going up this wall, I'm really not picking anything up. Little hints around, but nothing particularly major, considering this is an empty property being renovated, so no heating's been on for a while. There's a massive crack in the ceiling. We're expecting that there's going to be some sort of elevated readings, certainly on the wall. The timbers themselves, the joists, you know, that's an absolute reading in timber, so that's 9.5%. Well off the 20% that would be a concern for dry rot. Look in this one under here, the joist end, 10%. I'll try and get a bit closer to the end. 10%, pretty good. Alright, so I've been looking at the dry rot upstairs. I've come downstairs and I'm looking around at the boards and I've seen this on the floorboard. And it could be scuffing, could be some old sort of damage, but given the dry rot upstairs, I wanted to take a closer look. And looking through the gap, you can actually see kind of fluff going through there, and again through this gap here. And that kind of got alarm bells ringing, so I've just lifted one board. It was already broken and damaged, so that was easy to lift. Putting my hand underneath, worryingly, I can feel dry rot there. I can feel something under it. So I'm just going to lift one of these boards. I'm going to have to cut them, and I'll come back to you. Well, there you go, the board is cut. So let's lift it up. Oh dear. There's some dry rot there. Go underneath. What have we got? Oh yeah. Good bit of dry rot there. I'm going to have to put the light on to have a look down the rest of there. So the cause of that dry rot which we found inside does look to be high ground levels. So there's the window in there, we've got a flower bed here, loads of shrubberies. This side is massively overgrown. The joists actually terminate right at the base of this wall and are partly under the ground. And if you look at the base of the wall, you've got the flower beds going right up to it without that render protection. So this under here, you can see a hole in the wall there. And gap at the base, letting rainwater penetrate through onto those joists.